Today, we're diving into one of the oldest questions there is, but we're going to look at it through a really different lens. We're exploring an idea from Scripture that totally reframes our understanding of God, not as a story about rules and judgment, but as a love story. Let's get into it. So, let's start with the big one, right? What is the true nature of God? For thousands of years, we've heard all the answers. A distant creator, a strict judge, a lawgiver. But what if those answers are missing the most important part? What if the real motivation behind everything is a relationship? And this is where things get really interesting. On one hand, you have the view many of us grew up with, God as a feared judge, a king way up on a throne demanding we obey. But the idea we're exploring today suggests something completely different. God as a loving partner, an intimate equal who isn't looking for subjects, but for a soulmate. But that begs a pretty big question, doesn't it? Why would an all-powerful, totally self-sufficient being go looking for a partner? Well, the answer, according to this perspective, is the whole reason for creation in the first place. It was never about power, it was about finding someone to love.
So, you've heard the phrase, God is love, a million times. But this isn't just about God being nice or merciful. It's a statement about motive. The whole why behind the universe was for God to find a partner, to build a relationship of equals, and, in the end, to become one with that person.
And you see this idea pop up all over Scripture in these really beautiful ways. I mean, look at this verse from Hosea. This isn't just poetry, it's written like a divine marriage proposal. That word betroth, it's so intentional. It sets up the whole story not as a king and his people, but as a divine courtship.
And here is maybe the most radical part of the whole thing. For love to be real, it can't be a master-servant relationship. It has to be between equals. So for this to work, the all-powerful God has to, in a way, lower himself, make himself vulnerable so that humanity can be lifted up to become a true equal partner. It just flips the whole power dynamic on its head.
Okay, so if this is a divine courtship, how does humanity, the intended bride, even prepare for a union like that? Well, this is where Scripture comes in. But it's not a rule book. It's something way more personal.
I absolutely love this analogy. Think of what we learn about God just from looking at nature. That's general revelation. It's like sunlight. It shines on everybody everywhere. But the Bible, special revelation, that's like a secret note. It's a private message, a map to a hidden meeting place, passed only to the one being pursued.
And you know what? The Bible kind of winks at us about this whole thing. The Apostle Paul is talking about marriage between a husband and a wife, and then he just comes out and says it. This is a profound mystery, but hey, just so you know, I am talking about Christ and the church. He's literally pulling back the curtain on this secret love story. So, the point of this secret guide is actually super practical. First, it's meant to change how we see God, from some distant boss to a close companion. It's also like a training manual to help us mature, to become a worthy partner. And maybe most importantly, it guides us through the reality of a real relationship. And that means the struggles and the pain, not just the good stuff. All right, so if Scripture is the map to a secret meeting place, where is it? Some holy mountain? An ancient temple? Nope. The argument here is that the journey and the destination are not out there in the world at all. The whole thing is internal.
This incredible meeting, this divine union, it doesn't happen in a building made of stone. The sacred space, the real holy ground, is our own consciousness. It's inside our own minds. The whole drama plays out right there, within us. That's where we build the relationship.
And this internal journey is structured just like the ancient temple. It all starts in the outer court. That's the realm of our everyday thoughts. But as we journey inward, we enter the sanctuary, a place inside where our minds and hearts are purified and made clean. And that journey leads us, finally, into the Holy of Holies, the Father's innermost chamber, deep within our own consciousness. This is the true house of God, where that profound union finally happens.
And this whole inner journey, it's not just about having a nice chat. It has a very specific destination. It's a process that is designed to lead to a final state of being, complete and total oneness.
And here's a fascinating little clue, kind of hidden away in the original Hebrew. One of the first names for God used in the Bible is Elohim, which is actually a plural word. Now, the argument isn't that it means multiple gods, but that it represents the two partners in this relationship, God and humanity, and the whole process therein of becoming one.
So you can think of the entire spiritual journey like this, moving from Elohim to El.
We start in a plural state, the two partners in the courtship. But the goal, the completion of this epic love story, is to arrive at L, the singular form. That represents perfect, inseparable unity. It's where the two have finally, truly become one.
And that's it. That's the whole ball game. The entire purpose of creation, of this divine romance, of the secret guide, and of that journey into our own minds. It's all about this one thing: to make two into one, to completely erase the distance between the creator and the created through a bond of real, equal, committed love.
So after all of this, the courtship, the secret map, the inner journey, what does the happily ever after actually look like? Well, the end of the story is every bit as beautiful as the beginning.
The very last book of the Bible wraps up with this unbelievable image. It's not a king on a throne with subjects bowing down. It's a holy city, representing all of perfected humanity, and it's described as a bride beautifully dressed for her husband. It's the ultimate wedding day. It's the moment we become the holy temple, the living house of God.
And that brings this whole cosmic story right back down to you and me. Because if this is true, if the whole point of everything is a divine love story, then that leaves us with one last, pretty intense question. It asks us to see our own lives, not as some test we have to pass, but as a romance that's being written right now. So, what is the secret story being written between you and God?